So we're going to take Trail 7. This is a trail we don't take very often. We actually got lost on this trail. And it wasn't a very well beaten path. Look at that. That's supposed to be a spring. Dry as a cork. It was just a dirt trail. Like now they've cut it back and put crushed rock down and stuff. But up here, there's a sharp turn, and now they have great big rocks up so that it's like, don't go that way. But they didn't have them at that time, so we went that way. And what appeared, like I just said, okay, well, we're going right. So we came straight in, and that should take us straight back out eventually. And anyway, no, it didn't do that. Look at this. See? There's a snowshoe trail. They got the mark now. Cool. Oh, and then it goes through this way. Yeah, cool. I see they've put some signs up. Like, this is a really pretty trail now. I haven't been back here for quite a while. They really cleared it out good. There's a lot of cedar here. And that is because there's a lot of swamp area back this way. This way. I know that because that's where we got lost. But yeah, a lot of cedar. That's a big fir. And then we got a popple. Another popple. Balsam fir. These are all balsam fir. And this is what they make the Christmas tree wreaths out of when you buy them. This is what they do. They pick the tips off. And like, for instance, they would take what they call a swag, and it's like your elbow back here. You clip that, you break that off, and you usually do it on a cold morning. There's a nice cedar. And you put 7 of those swags together in a fan, and then you tie them together at the bottom, and they'll put like Merry Christmas on them, or Joyeux Noel, or Happy Holidays. And they'll put like little gift boxes and stuff like you get out of the dollar store, little trinkets. And they'll sell those. And those are the rocks I'm talking about right there. And this is the trail, as you can tell. Not too many people go on that. This is the trail we got lost on. So, okay. So, yeah, so that's swags, okay? You'll see them shaped like a fan. But also, tipping for Christmas trees, you go back about 6-8 inches on the fir tree, and I'll show you. Like, you would take this and you would tip it off. The frost makes the sap hard, So they just snap right off, like you can pick them right quick. And that's how they make wreaths, Christmas wreaths. I can't show you how to do that because I don't have a ring and I don't have the nylon wire. But yeah, so this is the kind of tree that they use. They use these for swags to make a Christmas fan, and then they'll pick these to make a Christmas wreath. Yeah, it was a big thing for us to do growing up. We, like, you take a stick, like, for instance, that stick broke right there. You take that, make it about 5 feet, and you shove the tips in like this, and you would put this, the stick would go here, right? And then you would just cross them, and you can put about 75 pounds on a stick, and you would take that in, and we would, at that time, we would get about $30 out of it. But we would do that, you know, for 5 hours or so, and there's a nice trail, and we would make, you know, quite a bit of money off it for, you know, a teenager. So, and but I used to do it all. I was good friends with a guy and that owned the Christmas tree farm, and I used to prune the Christmas trees, make the wreaths, pick the tips, make the swags, load up the transports, go to New York, sell them on the site. Like, I'm not talking about website. Back then we didn't have websites. I'm talking about a physical site in New York. And yeah, so we would sell 75,000 trees down there. Big money. So but yeah, it's not a good job when you're older and your body's not cooperating very well. Yeah, it's but when you're young, just you go at that every day of tipping season. Yeah. And a lot of Christmas trees come out of New Brunswick that go into the States because we have such a huge balsam fir population here, and it's made for, our ground and stuff is made for softwood. And the Christmas tree farms I worked on, one had 20,000 and the other one had 60,000, and just me and one other guy, we used what they call lightning shears, and what they are is basically a set of shears, but they're up to 18 feet, and then you pull the bottom of the pole and it closes the shears like a big pair of scissors. Because if you're wondering why 18 feet, well, department stores, places like that want these big huge Christmas trees. So they have to grow the tall ones, and you need the long shears to be able to prune them. Pruning is shaping them to get them ready for sale. Because if you don't, then they just look like a big round tree, not your typical triangle shape Christmas tree. So yeah, did that job and had a good time. The big one we stayed in, there was a camp. Went back and stayed in, and it was along the Acadia coastline. And our boss used to bring us lobster every day for supper. Oh, the colors. That might sound heavenly for some, but when you grow up here, lobster is like, to me, it's like, oh, well, I can take it or leave it. And one a month is fine and dandy with me. I don't need to eat it every day. But he treated us good, so I could tell you some interesting stories about us young country boys going to New York and being thrown into big city culture. Very interesting stories. Yeah. We went into this bar, and you know, you had to be 21, and we was like 17, but anyway, we get in no problem, and there was 5 of us, and there was this girl, and she was gorgeous, and of course us young country boys from East Coast Canada, half drunk, figured, we were all studs, you know, like. So she wouldn't give us the time of day. And there was one guy that was with us who was the quiet one. And anyway, she was very into him. And they left, and he come back about 20 minutes, and he was like white, super white, like just pale. He said, yeah, we was making out in the alley, and I kind of put my hand down there and grabbed something that was like bigger than mine. So yeah, so obviously she was a dude. Now this is weird. This is new. I have never seen this before. Coop, how'd we end up on this? Like, that's totally different. I don't recall this at all. It's just hard to say where we're gonna end up. Like, there should be a turn off right up here, not too far. But if I don't see it soon, we're going to turn and go back, because I don't recognize this at all. Like, there should be a number 3 turnoff. This is quite different. What do you think, bud? I'm not really recognizing this at all. There should be. Like, that's a long, straight path. Yeah, but we're gonna head back, okay? Because it's getting dark. And I don't want us to end up venturing into nowhere land. Like, that kind of looks like it follows the power lines, but there is no power lines. They must have. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get this. Like, I recognize the trail itself, but it didn't seem to me like it took that long to get in here. So it's like they kind of added something here. And I don't recall that picnic table and fire pit. I don't recall that culvert. That looks like it's new. And then there's a gate open down here. And I definitely don't recognize that at all. So this is one of these situations where you got to be quite careful, because you can get lost very easy. So let's say in number 7. So if we had kept going that way, but see, there's nothing for this. So we stay out of their coop. Okay, we go back this way. So there's a pretty trees. Yeah, so that's a very good example of, see, that's a picture of the chalet. So if you go this way, you know you're going to hit the chalet. So, but that's a good example of what I mean by just back out if you're not familiar, like very familiar, like I recognize it, the shape of the trail, and there's one beside it that's number 3, but it looked like it was a very long trail, and I know they've been working in here this summer, so you could easily mistaken something that, like, the end of Trail 7 should be about a 10-minute walk to Trail 3, and that was the trail I was going to come back out. And I'll show you up here where that is. But that looked like a very long walk. And so I didn't feel comfortable with it. I didn't recognize that culvert that was put in or that gate. So the best thing to do is just to back out. And if you're that interested, hit it another day when it's earlier and you're better prepared. See, another chalet sign. And then that way, if you do end up getting semi-lost, because the sign does say number 7, okay, so eventually you're gonna find your way out. But I mean, you could hit a lot of different trail systems before you finally come out to civilization. And the amount of miles in here, square miles, it could take hours to figure that out. So not a good thing to be doing at 7 o'clock in the evening, with obviously the sun going down, as you can see, and me with no headlamp, no backpack, nothing. But there is cell service here, so, but still, like, you know, you call up search and rescue, which I never have done, but you call them up and what do you say? Well, I'm in the woods. I'm on a trail that has crushed rock. Like, there's about 300 of those here. So I guess they could get you if you turn your GPS on, but anyway, I don't like calling those people unless there's an injury, animal attack, the dog can't walk, something like that. But you know, I've seen me carry him, and not just him, but another person. I had her on my back, and luckily she only weighed 90 pounds, and I was a very big bodybuilder type at that time, about 225, solid muscle, 2 trips a day to the gym, and lots of cardio. So I was fit for it, but we was on a 3 to 5 day hike, and we got about 35 kilometers from the car, and we was back deep woods, and we was about 5 miles from the start of the trail system into the woods, but we only come out to a woods road. So we was 5 miles out to the woods road, and there was 2 woods roads, 3 actually, and they shot off, one to the left, one to the right, and then one straight down the center. And so we got back there about 5 miles, and we was in a group, and we spent the first night, and I went up ahead to where the rest of the group was the next morning, and I heard this thud, bang, whatever, and I go back and see said person laying on the ground. Can't walk on my foot. My ankle is twisted. Blah, blah, blah. So I just said to the rest of them, I said, okay, I'm going to head back out, because going the other way, I would have been carrying this person for 3 to 5 days. So I said, I'm going to start out. If I have any issues, I'll contact the right people. So, not knowing that, had her kind of on my back, and the dog cuts his foot. So, he can't walk on it. Well, he can, but it's hurting him quite bad. So, I got him in front of me, holding him up in my arms. Her on the back. 2 backpacks. Okay? I don't know if you try to picture this, but I had a lot of weight on me. So, I get out, did that for this is where I was talking about coming. See, this is new. This is how I always went. So that's why it's different to me. That's new. I never went that way before. This is the way I always went. That's why I got confused, because as you can see, this is also Trail 7. Right here. This one. And this is Trail 7. So I just took the new one. Okay, anyway, back to the story. So I have Cooper. He probably weighed about 45 pounds then. Yeah. And then I had 2 backpacks that probably weighed in total probably 35, 40 pounds. And I had her 90 pounds on me. So, yeah, 150, 175 pounds I was lugging. Got out to the start of the trail, and I was like, shit. Which road do I take? I knew it was either the left or the right, but it was my first time there, and I didn't have my bearings. So I grabbed my phone to try to get an overhead view with Google Earth, Google, whatever I wanted to use. I had All Trails, all that stuff. Never thought to download the trail system, because you can use it without the internet if you do that, but I forgot. And no internet there at that part. So this guy comes on a tractor, fully loaded with hay, and he says, just keep walking that way. My buddy will be coming along in the truck. So we started walking that way, and buddy showed up. We got to drive, but we just got to drive out to a byway, not a highway, but a byway. That means a road in a small town. I had no idea where we was when he dropped us off. And he was saying, if you just go this way, you'll come out to the highway. So we started that way, and now I have Cooper. I got him wrapped up good with his foot. I had him kind of walking kind of well. Had her like under my arm, basically. and she was limping, so things were getting better. But walked for quite a ways, and then I seen somebody out in a on their front lawn mowing. So I went in and I was like, hey, we're trying to get back to Fundy Park to my car. And she said, well, you're going the wrong way. You're on your way to Moncton. And Moncton is like the total opposite way from the Fundy Park. So she said, I don't know the area very well, but if you want to go over there, there's an elderly couple who lives there. And they might be able to give you a better way through, like a faster way. So I go over. The guy takes us in, he feeds us, puts us in the car, drives us right to my car. And it took him like 45 minutes. And he knew where he was going. So, thank God for there's still some good people out there. Because we'd probably still be on that highway hitchhiking. Yeah, so that was quite a hike. Yeah, so but the worst of it is on the way home, this person told me that she was a very experienced hiker and she loved it and all this stuff. And I didn't know her that well. And, but I found out pretty quick that her idea of hiking was like walking a nature trail or like a city trail. Like, don't think she ever even stayed in a tent overnight, because on the way home we stopped to get gas and there was a Dairy Queen there, and I said, hey, you want anything over there at Dairy Queen? And she was like, oh yeah, opens up the car door, sprints to Dairy Queen. And I'm like, what happened to the broken heel, the sprained heel you couldn't stand on, that I carried you for about 4 hours because of? And come to find out, it's faking it all because she hated hiking. And, well, you know, you can kind of fill in the blanks there. I wasn't very happy, and was definitely not inviting her on a hiking trip again. So anyway, one of my hiking adventure stories. And I never went back there, and I would love to do it sometime before too long, because that was one of the most beautiful hiking trails that I've been on, and I only got about 5 miles of it, and I had about another 50 to see, and it went along the Fundy coastline. It was everything. It was deep woods, it was mountainous, it was shoreline. Like, you even had to wait for the tide to go out to be able to cross about a mile stretch of this trail, and you had to hit it at a certain time or else you'd be under like 40 feet of water when you got halfway through. So awesome trail. I was looking so forward to it, but I took the wrong person with me, and never looked down on Cooper for it, because even with a bad cut, he would have followed me till his leg fell off. But she just completely ruined it for us. Anyway, so we are on our way back out. This is the trail that I would have come out on if I had have went straight back there when I showed you. It's just they put that new connection through and everybody's using it, and me not being back there for a year or so, the one that I take or always took is grown up now a little bit, so I followed the beaten path. And so I would have eventually connected on to that, but it just didn't look, I wasn't 100% sure, so I come back out. And now we are almost to the car. And I did lots of babbling. So, how long have I been on here? 36 minutes, wow. Okay, so we're just out on the car here now. So I'm gonna shut it down.